Um, so, so a comment of mine on Instagram got taken down. I said to someone, "You're trash," and that someone had posted this comment over there, or whatever, um, and then there's also the comment from the OP from the original poster of the video, and I had added to this conversation in response to the backdoor whatever, you're trash. And then Instagram took it down. I was like, well, first of all, Instagram warned me when I typed it. I was like, no. So I sent it through. Then they told me they took it down. Their algorithm, I'm assuming. So I was like, fuck that. That needs to be reviewed. So they reviewed it and then still took it down. So now I'm filing an appeal. And it's not that big of a deal. Oh no, they took my comment down. The big deal is it's like I was angered by the comment that was left and got into warrior mode to defend the OP. And Instagram was like, no. And well, I'm already committed to it. I'm still in warrior mode. Instagram's algorithm's morality only just riles me up more. Anyway, but then that got me thinking about something, which is that we evolved lots of different techniques to deal with immorality or any threat to the group or to the well-being of the group. So, for instance, I mean, we know that social proof is a huge thing, a huge a mechanism in our minds, and it's what makes morality so contagious. If we see people saying that something is bad, then we just say, okay, then that is bad then. And then it's wired in to elicit disgust when we see someone breaking this norm. And it's able to be that contagious because each brain doesn't need to... Neil, what are you doing? What are you doing? Doesn't need to understand why it was moral. I feel like I'm getting off track. I'm distracted by Neil. Hold on a second. All right, Neil, come here. Good boy, buddy. All right. Because here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how, although human culture evolved for specialization, which is pretty cool, except people don't respect it enough. You have people dedicate their lives to understanding this, dedicate their lives to understanding that. They come out with their results, and the people who have done none of that are like, no, I'm going to do my own research. I disagree. Okay. But that's cool. I mean, it's just the balance of skepticism and look, evolution isn't perfect, all right? Gosh, I'm really all over the place. I'm sorry. All right, so here's what I want to talk about is, although specialization is cool, in a lot of cases, having people who specialize in medicine, having people who specialize in certain research, having people who specialize in education, whatever. And so the police would be another example of specialization. Rather than everybody having to work towards the safety and well-being of the community, we put certain people in charge of that. And those people, of course, need to receive special training, since they're going to be sort of the only people responsible for that job. Anyway, so which they do. I mean, I don't think they receive enough training, but they receive some training. Anyway, but I'm skeptical that specialization of policing, of sort of moral regulation, I don't know how feasible it is, at least in this time. And I'm not sure how good it is. I'm not sure it's one of those things where we can actually specialize. Sure, for investigating a murder or an investigation, sure. But if if in the community we see someone do something wrong, we've evolved with the instinct, some of us anyway, or at least there are some members of the community that typically in any community, some percentage of the members have instincts to respond to it. Okay. And so I actually, this feels so weird to say, but even when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a police officer. I feel that obligation towards helping people, and gosh, sounds so naive now, but so idealistic. But I really wanted to. Really did. I even took my National Guard test. I didn't know whether I wanted to do the military or police. Oh my gosh. Anyway. And so often, not often, but sometimes I'll be in an interaction with a stranger in public where I'm like, yo, don't do that. And they'll be like, what are you, the police? I don't know, maybe they just bought something and they threw some plastic on the ground. And I go, yo, there's a trash can right there. He goes, what are you, police? Something like that. That's a problem, that we are removing the power of sort of moral correction from most people. Okay, sort of a problem, because obviously a lot of people have some really shitty morality. So, like, theoretically, there is an advantage to having anti-vigilante policies, but there's also theoretically a huge disadvantage, which is that the police can't actually be everywhere all at once, number one. Number two is that it's a pretty good to have, a pretty good mechanism to have, that instinct to, correct that. So anyway, with Instagram, I should have, I guess, reported their comment, then their comment just gets taken down. I mean, he might not even find out. It just doesn't, work. The current system of specialization does not do as good of a job. The specialization of morality and correction and so on isn't adequate. It can't do as good of a job as if people had the right to throw a punch when someone does something that violates the community norms. Again, the community norms can be stupid, so I mean it is tricky, but I say you should be able to get in trouble for unless you do some permanent damage to someone, for responding to a moral violation. Now, maybe there's a follow-up review of it, whether it's the police or Instagram, wherever it is, and it's like, yo, so did that person who you punched actually violate our community norms? And this is what a court is for. This is what committees or panels or whatever are for. Oh wait, okay, he was gay and you grew up where that was against the community norms. So I get your disgust and I get your violence, but actually that's a bad community norm and it's not one of the state. So yeah, no, you're in trouble for beating up that queer person. And you have the choice. Either you can, you're going to go to a rehabilitation where you learn the actual community norm, and then you'll be, no, that's it. And then you'll be tested afterwards, and, you know, if, blah, blah, blah. But if you can rehabilitate, reform yourself, learn what the actual community norm is, and community norms really are contagious. You put that homophobic asshole in with some gay people, some allies, some people that represent sort of the mainstream that he can connect with, and who are also like, yo, that community norm you thought was good is shit. That person is going to change. You know, and then we can break down the details about victim compensation or something. That could be good, victim compensation. So even if yeah. And then in another case, I don't know, somebody was continuously sabotaging someone else at work, or cheating, or being deceptive, or whatever, and a friend of the victim or the victim themselves goes and knocks him out or whatever, then yeah, there's no real sort of law that we have, because our legal system kind of sucks, to like say that this cheater was in the wrong, but it definitely violates community guidelines and standards, and his jaw wasn't wired shut or anything, so you're good. I wanted to say something else, I think, but we're going to leave it at that.